Hey, do you use a crossfader? Do you? YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button. Lots of content on the way. Hit the like button if you're feeling saucy. And of course, if you got something to say, toss it in the comments and I'll be sure to get right back to you. But anyway, let's talk crossfaders. Let's talk crossfaders. Do you use one or no? I'm really curious, definitely let me know in the comments. Well, regardless if you use one or not, I decided to make a little video on the topic and talk about the different ways you can use a crossfader to kind of elevate your mixing game. Now, before I even start, okay, my way isn't the highway, so however I do it, it's not how you should do it. There's a million ways to do this, and I'm gonna talk about all the different ways. Even not using a crossfader, I mean, if you're good at it and you don't need it, whatever, if you're comfortable, then stick with it, whatever. But I figure I'll explain a couple different ways a crossfader kind of help you, mix a little better, a little smoother, a little quicker. I like using it personally. So I'm gonna give you a couple tips real quick and take it or leave it, okay? So there's three ways, well, there's probably more than three ways, but three main ways to use a crossfader, okay? Number one is to not use it at all. You turn it off. It's not assigned to any channel, and that thing's just laying there, just in the way, just flopping around back and forth, just chilling, flopping in the wind, and you're fading up and down with your volume up faders for each channel, right? That's not at all. Let's talk about way number two. Number two is setting your crossfader to cut. That's by taking the little crossfader knob thing and turning it all the way to the right-hand side. That is gonna be your cut position, all the way to the right. Some turntablists and stuff use it a little off to the right, but like generally speaking, you want to be as close to the right as possible. What moving it all the way to the right does is eliminate any of the fading features of the crossfader. So essentially, when the crossfader's on one side, it'll only play the one song that's on the opposite channel, and then when you let it out just a little tiny bit, doesn't matter how much, if it's just out just a little tiny bit, the full song will come out. So it goes 0 to 100 real quick, right? Volume 0 to 100. There's no fade whatsoever. Now, the cut position is best for DJs who like to cut, who like to scratch and stuff like that, doing different transforms. You ever hear a DJ go like, in different little things and cutting things up? That's done with the cut position of the crossfader, because all they need to do is just move it a little bit off of the off position, and then a sound comes out. So they're able to manipulate the sound better when you're doing crabs and different things like that. That has to be in the cut position so you can hear the sound and everything kind of be smooth. So if you're a turntablist, if you're into scratching and stuff like that, you'll use the crossfader in the cut position. Now, the third way to use the crossfader is in fade mode, right? I'm not giving you guys correct terms. I'm sure there's the right terms. If anybody knows the correct actual terms, put it in the comments, so you could sound smart if you're ever interviewed, I guess, because I always sound like an idiot. But essentially, it turns it into fade mode. It fades, right? So you want to turn your crossfader knob all the way to the left, and then now, instead of cutting, now when you bring the crossfader over, it'll slowly bring in the other song and then fade. And then once you get it to 50%, right? So at fade, if the crossfader's at 50% right in the center, now both songs are playing at full volume. Then when you turn it to the other side, it fades out one song and keeps the other song in, right? So each side fades out the other song. Now, crossfader in the fade position, I think is great, and it's something I used a long time before I learned how to scratch and stuff, and I'm kind of surprised at how many DJs don't utilize this. And it's kind of why I decided to make this video, maybe kind of like make you guys aware if you weren't aware, maybe something new to try, right? It's super cool because basically you want to set your gain structure and you want to set your volume so you're all set, and you kind of do that on the volume faders and with your gains and you're set there. But then when you're actually mixing, when you play the two songs, if you use the crossfader, it'll fade you in and out absolutely perfect. Something that's pretty hard to do when you're using two hands with the volume faders. You get good at it, you can do it with the volume faders, obviously, but like it's a perfect fade every time. You just fade right across and it'll fade into the next song. It's literally how I mixed for years and years and years before I learned how to scratch and before I switched it to the cut position so I can do more like different scratch things. But I think it's a cool thing, and even when I'm training new assistants and stuff, like to come with me to weddings and whatnot, and if they don't have any any DJ experience like Santi does, I'll put it in fade mode and have them fade between, and they actually like that a lot better. See, it's more intimidating for them to fade 2 knobs at once and try and time it right, rather than just, as long as the volumes are right up top on the 2 channels, then all you have to do is just basically slowly bring that across and it's gonna fade beautiful, you know? So if new people that have never DJed before, if that's the easiest thing for them, I would assume that, you know, just using it even as an experienced DJ mixing, it's going to make your job easier, smoother, better, you know, just something to consider, you know. And then at the same time, too, if you're mixing video and whatnot, you assign the video to that crossfader and bam, 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 you can go back and forth. And that works even better. So just something to consider. Little tidbit on the crossfader. Those are the 3 different ways you can use it. Primarily, you can adjust it in between, but most of the time you want to do it all the way to the right, all the way to the left, or just turn that shit off and not use it at all. Where are you guys at? Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you guys do. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next video.